Yes, yes. All right. French Gooner coming back with another short show. This is a 2 minute submission for the Gooner Talk. Go check out that channel. Top quality football analysis show. And there's an open invite for Arsenal fans to come on and share their opinions. So for this submission, I'm just going to give a bit of a quarterly season review type of thing, but really on my feelings as an Arsenal fan and as a someone who started the season supporting Unai Emery and how that's gone since then. When I say I started off as an Emery supporter, I mean I had friends who were Arsenal fans who were Emery out from the start of the season. You know, after the Europa League and the way we failed with the run-in at the end of the season against teams like Brighton and Bournemouth, if I remember correctly. There was a lot of animosity, safe to be said, in all of my chat groups, all of my WhatsApp groups, and I was kind of the Emery defender in a way. And now inside, I was quite wary of this Emery defense, but I felt that I had to be positive. I had to put up something for the club because all my friends were going in on Emery and going in on the appointment and the decision to keep him. And we started off all right, didn't we? We had 2 wins, two kind of scrappy wins, but they were 2 wins. There's that old adage of winning ugly is a sign of a good team or a sign of champions, they say. So that's how I flipped that into a positive. We won against Newcastle and Burnley in an ugly way, and later on Bournemouth and Aston Villa. But yeah, that's a sign of champions. Now by Bournemouth and Aston Villa, I had given up on that positivity, but that's another story. So we started off with these 2 wins. Then, as I remember, we had Liverpool, then I believe Tottenham. And those two, top or big six contender games, like, we're not going to win all of them. I could have accepted it, like Anfield away. Obviously, Derby form goes out the window. The moment where I feel like things were starting to go really south was against Watford. I feel like Aubameyang scoring those 2 goals. I remember being in France at the time, being gassed, just going mad. And then they didn't even have like a new manager. They had reappointed their old manager, Queen K Flores or whatever. And they had enough of a bounce back apparently to not let us win. I think they had like 30 shots on our goal or something stupid like that as well. And this is a team that can't seem to win still now. In late October, they haven't got a win in the Premier League, but we couldn't keep a 2-goal lead against them. And just for me at that point, it was like an Atlas stone dropping in my belly. I remember it was a horrible feeling, and it just brought me right back to reality. Like, okay, what has changed? Has anything changed? Are we right back where we've been for 2-3 seasons now? Now, since then, we've been obviously kind of indifferent. The victories that we've had, like I mentioned, against Aston Villa and Bournemouth, now they seem unconvincing. Whereas before it was winning ugly. Now it's like, oh, well, fair enough against Aston Villa. Fair play to the lads for the comeback. But you ask yourself, how do you get yourself in that position in the first place at home against a promoted team? Bournemouth, yeah, 1-0 to the Arsenal, George Graham football. But the reality of it was they did have a few chances in that second half. I think the most important thing for me has been the inability to create from open play. As it stands now, last 3 or 4 games, our goals have been from set pieces or corners or transitions at best. We're rarely creating from open play if at all, and it's just really tough to watch. Like, eyes bleeding, like it's just. And for me, the exact moment where I realized I was Emery out was actually it was in a game that didn't really matter against Vitoria, Gomores, I think they're called. That Europa League game where Pepe came and turned the game around, and the conversation all changed to Pepe. If Pepe hadn't scored those 2 goals, I wonder how much we would have been talking about Emery out after that game, because that game was atrocious. We let these little Portuguese team come up and just ball us off the park. It was unbelievable. And for me, the most unbelievable thing about it is that is where Emery seems to place a lot of pride in the Europa League performances. We tend to traditionally perform better against teams in the Europa League, even teams of Napoli's quality and all these other decent European sides we were dealing with in the Europa League up until the final, of course. So to see it fall apart like this at home in the group stages, I mean, yeah, sure, the players might have been a bit on the beach. They might have thought it was going to be easy. We were through to the next round already. But it was just really shocking to see. And that's the moment where I realised that if you give me the reins, I would get rid of Emery now. And now we're in a sort of a precarious place, both within the kind of the micro scale within this season. You feel like these next few games could maybe make or break Emery. Leicester away, Wolves at home, very tough games to win. 6 points from those, maybe we go on, kick on and get top four. If we don't get 6 points from those, you could see things going another way, very, very south. You never know. How many games does he get becomes the question at that point. And on the macro scale, we have, of course, a potential 4th season in a row in Europa League if we don't make it out this season. And that could be a bit of a defining factor in the current journey of Arsenal, the current trajectory of Arsenal. I feel like the halt has been arrested from going from 4th to 5th, and we've kind of stayed 5th. Well, we need to come back up. And if we can't do that, well, we never know. All I'm going to say is we're in a precarious place on the micro and the macro, I feel, as a Arsenal Football Club. Now, for the rest of the season, till January, till summer, I will be backing the manager, backing the players when they're on the pitch. Like, for 90 minutes, I'm just backing them, no matter what. I don't, I want to win every game. I want us to do well. And I want them to prove me wrong. I'd love for them to prove me wrong. And, I want to try and sandwich this with a bit more positivity. I do see some positives in what's going on in terms of people like Guendouzi, people like Bukayo Saka, Martinelli. There's a lot of fantastic young players at this club who are the future of Arsenal, and I'm loving seeing them come through. So, and also, of course, the change of the backroom structure. So for me, there's a lot of positives to take from what's been happening. Maybe not so much just this season, just since Emery's arrived. Unfortunately, very little of it seems to be obviously to do with Emery. Yeah, that's just kind of the position I'm in after, was it in 10 games now? So yeah, that's a brief kind of quarterly review on the season. This was meant to be a 2-minute clip. I really apologise, Tom. Probably haven't watched through the whole thing because I've rambled on as I tend to do. But yeah, I'm sure if I'm on the podcast, you're going to be able to kind of mediate the rambling a little bit. But yeah, man, thanks for taking the time, and big up everyone who's watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Share up the video, and yeah, French Gooner, and I'm out, people.